In today's video, I'm going to walk you guys through how Rocket Lawyer cost a landlord $42,000 and why personally, I don't think you should use them if you're a real estate investor or business owner. Let's dive right in. If you're not familiar with rocketlawyer.com, they're kind of like the do-it-yourself legal contract template website positioned at like small business owners, small landlords. I think they're like $20 a month after some sort of a free trial. Now, let me be totally blunt. Clearly, this isn't sponsored by them because I'm not recommending it. And I'd be 100% lying if I said I personally hadn't used Rocket Lawyer for things in the past. So while I do think that they serve like some purpose, it's not quite the same as retaining a lawyer to do something for you. One thing people don't realize with like most contracts, most things that are done on the legal end, whoever has it drafted, it typically is to benefit them. So anytime anybody signs you a contract and says, hey, read this, you should ask yourself, like, how does this benefit them? Whether that's a lease, somebody's wanting to buy one of your properties, or go into business with you, etc. Like typically, whoever drafts it, it's drafted in their favor. Now, I would assume Rocket Lawyer drafts their agreements so that they should, in theory, benefit the person that, well, paid them to do it. So let me walk you guys through what this scenario was, kind of what the clause was that was included into one of their agreements, and what happened. So my wife and I were moving from Pensacola, Florida to San Diego, and we ultimately wanted to buy out here, but we decided first we would look for something to rent. We didn't want to be in a position that we bought something in an area we thought we would like, only to realize we didn't end up liking it. And we're super glad we went this route. We did end up buying a house that I'll talk to you guys about more later. We ended up in an area that I don't think we would have ever picked, but we absolutely love it. So while we were looking for a rental, we were looking for something that was like short term, right? Like 6 months. We ended up finding a place, reached out to the landlord and explained, hey, we are looking to relocate. We're a military family. And what appealed to us with their place was it was like a year, but they were willing to end it early. They're like, hey, this is great. We're looking to, move back into the property ourselves. They'd owned it for a long time. And it was just kind of like, they weren't quite yet ready to move back. So we were like, sweet, full disclosure. We're looking to move like in Q1. And they're like, hey, no problem. We're looking to be back like late Q1, early Q2. Sweet. Now, on my end, 100% should have gotten that in writing via email, text, something. It was an over the phone conversation. So fast forward to December, we find the house I'm currently sitting in. We go under contract. And we reach back out to the landlord and say, hey, we found a place. We're going to be closing in like late January, early February. What do we want to do with the lease? And they're like, well, we'll let you out early, like August. And it was a lease through September. I was like, hold up. That's not what we'd agreed to, right? Now, I didn't have it in writing. Again, shame on me. But I did remember a goofy clause that I saw in the lease. So let me show you this to you guys. So I went through and read through this lease, pretty standard lease by all, typical accounts, right? Covers the usual stuff. But there was this interesting clause in here about early termination that effectively said the tenant with 60 days written notice to the landlord may terminate the lease provided that they pay a termination charge equal to $6,000, which was 1 month's rent. Yes. Rent for a nice house in California was $6,000. Absolutely sucks. Or the maximum allowable by law, whichever is less. That's weird. Like you think I would go for the max if I'm drafting the contract in my favor. Termination will be effective the last day of a calendar month. Following the 60-day notice period, termination charge will be in addition to all rent due up until the termination day. So we knew in like January or December that we were going to be closing in January. So we issued notice like December 31st. Happy New Year, right? Kind of sucks to suck though. Like we agreed to rent the place knowing we could get out early and they came back and said, psych. So screenshotted this sucker, flicked it over and was like, hey, okay, well, unfortunately, we're going to be executing clause number 25. Now, what's interesting with this, California doesn't have like a required early termination fee as far as I've been able to find. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one online or TV or anything like that. But as far as I'm aware, like this isn't required. And the maximum really is you're on the hook for the full lease. So we should have had to have paid March, April, May, June, July, August, and September, which would have literally been $48,000. Instead, because we gave them notice, it was just $6K. Now, the point of this video isn't to gloat of like, oh, I got out of my lease. Sucks for these guys. It really is, as business owners, you want to know what the terms are that you're agreeing to up front. As you can imagine, they weren't thrilled. As you can imagine, I wasn't thrilled that I even had to go this route, given the conversation that we'd had, but this was just in their lease. As far as I'm aware, Rocket Lawyer allows you to edit these templates. So they could have just simply deleted that clause. And I mean, literally, we were like, okay, well, I guess worst case scenario, we're paying them 42 grand. We're buying this other house, gross, but is what it is. So is Rocket Lawyer the bad guy here? No, not necessarily. Did it cost them this particular clause that Rocket Lawyer put in that they left in $42,000? Absolutely yes. Would we have paid it had that clause not been in there? Yes, we would not have had a choice other than to abide by the terms of our agreement. So if you're going to use it, like read the fine print, try to understand what it's saying and what you really are committing to. While I'm a big fan of using things like ChatGPT or tools like this to like lower costs, keep overhead low, in my experience, there's some things that you probably don't want to skimp out on, and that's like legal work, tax prep, and contractors. I'd also add in marketing because bad marketing sucks. The fact of the matter is having a California attorney draft this lease might have cost them $1,000 or $2,000. They could reuse it forever. Using Rocket Lawyer to save $1,500 cost them 40 grand. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me. If you're new here, be sure to like and subscribe. Again, my name is Ryan Dossey. I'll talk to you guys next time.